Cost of living in the Philippines. Let's get real. We're going to talk about some real costs, some real circumstances. I'll tell you a few stories along the way. Uh, so this is going to be a little bit longer, but important stories, I think. Number one, how much money do you have? It's going to cost you all of that and more, unless you keep control of your money and don't do foolish things. I've met a number of number of expats here that run out of money after a year or two or three, and you could be in the same situation if you're not careful. Kind of like asking, can you live on $800 in your own country? You probably could, but you're going to have to make sacrifices in most situations. There are lots of options in the Philippines, from high-end city life to much more frugal province life. Anyway, remember this: if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. And you want to help the world, charity. A lot of people, a lot of needs here, but keep in mind your own budget. Stay within your own budget. Stay in control of your money. Anyway, let's get into some details here. Let's start with rent. And I have lived in 6 different condominiums in Cebu City, and in about 10 years, 3 different trips and different parts of the city. I have each change has cost me a little bit more. I wanted a little more space. I started with a very small studio, and gives you an idea what some of the studios look like, how they may be furnished. Now everybody goes by meters here, square meters. 22 square meters, about right around 250 square feet. Give you an idea. Multiply by 10 and add a few, gives you close estimation. Or multiply by 10.76 will give you more exact numbers. But yeah, fully furnished means different things, different people. Might be a rice cooker, a small television, and a mattress on the floor, and that's about it. You can still find relatively inexpensive, 15,000, 15, 16, 17,000 per month condominium studio units. The way to figure that out is do it. How much is it per square meter? The way to like this is, I think, about 600. They're asking 16,000 or 17,000 short term, 16,000 long term, and comes out to over 600 pesos per square meter. I'm renting 25,000 for 42 square meters. Part of that is the balcony. Comes out to less than 600 per square meter, and I've got a lot nicer place than this one, for instance. And yeah, you can negotiate with some people if they bought in. If they bought in early, pre-selling, they've got a lower cost, and if they're motivated, they can drop the price. You can negotiate some of that stuff sometimes. And you've got a CR, comfort room, a shower. I think these have the bathroom on one side and the shower on the opposite side, type thing. Yeah, that's what this is. But yeah, the closer you are generally to a mall or infrastructure, Manila, the railroad system, the bus system, different things, universities, hospitals, and such, the price goes up. IT Park in Cebu City, central business parks like Cebu Business Park that IL owns with the big Ayala Mall, and IT Park, which is a big multi-block, almost a city within a city. Also, prices go up. For the basically the same space, maybe a little bit bigger. You're going to pay 25,000 pesos a month instead of 15, 17, 18,000 pesos per month. If you can afford the more luxury units, resort type living, those are available on Mactan Island and different parts of metropolitan Manila and other parts of the Philippines as well. They're building more resort type condominiums, Boracay Island, Panglao Island, and they are available if you have the budget. Generally, you get a little more space for your money, the same money if you rent a house, but there are low-end houses and more expensive houses, very expensive houses. Complaint I hear about Dumaguete and Valencia, up above Dumaguete in the foothills, is that there's so many foreigners, they're driving up the prices, and it's no longer that inexpensive. It's getting more expensive to live in many areas because of the influx of foreigners moving in. By the way, JR at JRC Real Estate Services is expanding his services into selling properties, working as a buyer's agent, and rental properties as well. So you can contact him if you're coming to the Philippines in the Cebu City, especially this area. And he can do consulting and tell you if you've got a good deal, if you're planning on buying some land or property here. He is a real estate broker, and of course, he has his JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services business as well in Manila, in Cebu City, and Dumaguete. And if you enjoy these kind of videos, consider subscribing. I think about 70% of the people are subscribed, but that leaves, or no, 60% of the people are not subscribed, something like that. And anything you can do, comments, thumbs up, thumbs down. Down the lower left-hand corner, there's a join. I do deeper dives on some videos on different subjects, real estate, banking, medical, dental, other issues. And over in the right-hand corner underneath the video, there's a super thanks type little heart-shaped thing, or there's the first comment of most videos. There's a PayPal as well as buy me a coffee. So anyway, back to cost of living in the Philippines. Next category, girlfriends, girlfriend or girlfriends over the course of time. And this is where a lot of guys just really get messed up financially and emotionally. Uh, Warning, take it slow. Filipinos tend to latch on to you very quickly. I've got a couple of friends that basically said, yeah, my girlfriend moved in with me. I don't know how it happened, but she won't leave. And anyway, there are needs. Unless you're dating a upper middle to upper class, more financially secure individual and their family, you're going to buy a new phone for her and some of her family members, other gadgets. No doubt there are needs, and as the saying goes, when you marry a Filipino, it goes for many. It's an Asian thing, not just Filipino. When you marry an Asian, you are Filipino. You are marrying the family, and that's the same case. I think Thailand, China, Cambodia, many other countries as well. And the very family oriented here, and they see as part of their responsibility to help to work and help take care of that family. And if you tell your girlfriend, wife, I don't want you working, then you are part of that support system, no doubt. I know a guy who has, I think he is supporting the whole village. He's got a girl that comes over from another island, stays with him regularly, and always needing money, supporting the family, and gifts, birthdays, different events. Anyway, I can't put a number on that, but you need to know what your budget is, and you need to stay in control of your budget, and or you're going to be in bad shape, pal. And most of my viewers are males. Same thing goes for females. I saw a comment, I think it was on a Facebook group here a while back, a female that was dating a Filipino here. And yeah, the family was expecting her to support the extended family, and she talked about that, and a lot of people just said, no, you need to leave the situation. You need to find a way out. And don't forget pasalabong. It's the tradition of bringing gifts from your journey. If you're coming to meet somebody, or even if you're here and you take a trip and you come back, The tradition is you bring back a gift, and you'll find gift shops almost every place you go, tourist type area, to bring back gifts. I know guys who have an empty suitcase they take back to the U.S. and they fill it with chocolates and gifts to bring back to their friends and family in the Philippines. And there again, I think it's an Asian thing. And I know when I went to China, I had researched and knew that I was supposed to, and I did bring a gift for the person I was meeting on the other end. Speaking of gadgets, a lot of people, you probably want to keep your home country phone number for communicating with banks, getting two-factor identification, that type of thing, codes. And I pay like $29 a month to Google Fi, and the data no longer, like Google Fi, you need to use it primarily in the US or they shut it down, and they shut down that part. But my texting still work, so I can use it for two-factor identification type things. Um, I use I use a Magic Jack for calling back to the U.S. and it works. I had read that it will not work to call cell phones, but I was able to call my sister's cell phone the other day and talked for a couple of hours. So I guess it just depends upon what network they're on. It may or may not work for some people. There are there are eSIMs. I'll do a different video about that. If you've got a dual SIM phone, if you want, a lot of people keep their American number, European, Australian number, whatever, New Zealand, and if you have a dual SIM phone, you can put a second SIM in from one of the carriers here in the Philippines and get by that way as well. But you can get cheap phones here, and you can pay very expensive phones here as well. I generally pay anywhere from 10 to 17,000, anywhere from less than 200 to $300 for phones I've bought here. And if you bring your U.S. phone, or make sure it's unlocked. If it's not unlocked, you're not going to be able to use it here. Make sure, and if you're going to keep that phone and that number, be sure to tell your carrier that you're going to be out of the country, and have them put you on an international plan if it's a short trip or even long term. I think some of these countries, they have international plans, long term even, like $50 or more per month, and you can use it outside of the country without the huge roaming fees. You definitely don't want to be international roaming. Many other items like laptops and such, I think run anywhere from 15 to 20% higher than what you can buy in the U.S. And I've found that, but now there's I think a zero tariff on items coming from the U.S. now, going in, not sure quite when it's going into effect, that the new agreement they just made with the Philippines. So hopefully that's going to lower our cost on imported items, other items that, like if you order from Amazon, I think right now, I think if it's over $200, you get a customs fee. If it's under 200 on most items, you don't get the customs fee. But I think with the zero tariff, that we should be here in the Philippines buying from the U.S. items, and I buy a fair amount of food goods that are imported from the U.S. too. And over the course of a few months, those prices I would expect to start dropping, depending upon other factors, shipping costs, wars, and that type of thing. Food, the next category, and for many years I've been doing cost of living videos for 9 years on YouTube, and the first several years it pretty much stayed the same. I was spending about 50 US dollars eating out each month, and about 250 groceries in, and I cooked most of my meals, ate most of my meals in, and stayed pretty consistent. Over the years, I began buying more imported goods from like Landers and S&R. They're like a Costco in many parts of the world, a membership store, and some of those imported goods are more expensive. but and I try to eat more healthy. Some of the healthy things that you can buy, like extra virgin olive oil, the price has gone way up. Coffee had gone, Kirkland coffee, Costco had gone up substantially over the last couple of years. Finally, kind of went back closer to where it was. It went from about 800 to 1,000 to 1,200, 1,300, and went up to 18, 1,900 there for a while. And extra virgin olive oil went from like 899, 900 pesos to 1,200, and now it's like 1,900 pesos for the same large bottle of extra virgin olive oil, Kirkland brand, I believe. We shop more and more at the market, fresher vegetables and much cheaper foods, which is nice. And I don't have all the packaging, the garbage packaging. I hate all that packaging that they use, the styrofoam and the plastic. They wrap it all in. So you get away from that when you go to the market as well. Um, Prices of vegetables and fruits change a lot. They're seasonal. There's a number of reasons. We've had fish. My girlfriend buys a lot of fish. The kind that she likes been in very short supply because of the storms we've had in the Philippines these last couple of weeks. And the fishermen aren't able to go out and fish nearly as much as they were. Uh, Different vegetables and fruits are seasonal if they're local, domestic from the Philippines or from other countries as well. But you can get pretty much anything you want. Just depends upon what you want to pay for it. Except pomegranate. I only once when I'm here in the 10 years have I found pomegranate, and I bought them not thinking they were like $20 a piece. Bought two of them. That's the first and last time I've ever seen them here. And two things make it hard for me to keep track of my monthly food budget. Number one, we buy a lot more bulk. We buy stuff that lasts many months. I do the math, and if it figures out it costs me less, I buy much larger item that lasts me many months. And then got the girlfriend, and how much of that is she eating, and that type of thing. So it's more difficult for me. It's probably costing me 450, 500 a month, maybe something like that for food. And we eat mostly in. She eats what she likes, mostly Filipino types foods, but much healthier than when I first met her. And I eat what I want to eat, pretty much. She'll cook what I want, and sometimes I do the cooking as well. If you eat Filipino style, you can get by really cheap. Rice and some kind of protein meat. And these items are in no particular order. Utilities having to do with your rent, of course. And rent, you always want to find out, does your rent include the condo dues, association fees, HOA fees? Um, Sometimes if you see a lower price listed, it's because they are not including that in the price, and that's extra, and that's per square meter. Any there are some averaging from 70 per square meter, 70 pesos per square meter to 150 per square meter. Most of them are in the middle there someplace. 80, 90, 100, 115, 135 for the higher end. I've seen them as low as 40, but the places were very poorly maintained at that rate. So things to keep in mind. Electric bill, water bill will generally be quite small, and I think I pay about 600 pesos per month, less than $12. And my electric ranges over the years, smaller places to a little bit bigger places have run anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500 in my studios, and 3,000 to even 7,000. May is the hottest month of the year where I'm living now. I've got a lot of glass. I get morning sun. I get afternoon, evening sun, and So I get that direct sun affecting and I was home a lot. I ran the air a lot. I was at about 7,200 pesos for my May bill, which is divided by 56 pesos to the U.S. dollar, 128 dollars now. Last month it went down to 5,200. This month should be about 4,500 or less. Divided by 56 is about $80. So a big difference there. Depends upon. I know guys that run their fan most of the time. And this month of July, we've had a nice breeze. It's been about between 80 and 85 degrees. 30, about 30, 31 degrees Celsius, and I'm comfortable as long as the humidity stays 70 or below, 75 or below. Uh, I know guys that, man, they want to run that aircon on the cold setting 24/7, and your bill is going to be a little higher. Find out what your condo or your area charges. I think Vico, Visay Electric Company, charges about 13 pesos per kilowatt hour. Condo I'm renting in after Typhoon Odette and the various things running the generators and stuff, they raised it to 15. Now they raised it to 18. So I'm paying an extra 1,500 plus per month just because they raised the rate. The electric company didn't. The condo raised the rate. They're collecting that extra. When you go up in elevation, it's generally a little cooler, so your electric might go down. Uh, Depends upon the electric company where they're buying their electricity from. Up above Dumaguete, you've got Valencia. My understanding is they've got several geothermal plants up there, and therefore the electric rate is lower. Not sure if that's changed over the years. I've heard that. Not only that, but it's cooler, so a lot of people use very little electricity for their air conditioning as well. Transportation. What will be your mode of transportation, and how often will you take transportation? Transportation, public transportation, and the private hobble hobbles, taxis, planes, jeepneys, buses, ferries are relatively inexpensive here in the Philippines. Although if you want to depends on where you're going. Ferries, for instance, if you want to put a car on a ferry, depends on where you're going. That can get expensive if you're traveling with several people. Of course, you're paying for each and every ticket, anywhere from 500 pesos to 1,000. I think somebody was telling me the other day they paid 2,000 or 4,000 for their vehicle to get on there, and the ferry ticket for the vehicle included one passenger. And you've got domestic flights going to various. I think there are over 40 airports here. I'm not sure. A lot of them are not operating with the larger jets, and they're still recovering from the 2-year lockdown, what they called the pandemic, I think. Just for instance, Bantayan Island on the north end of Cebu Island. I've been up there a couple times, and they've got a small airport, and they've had small airline service there a couple times several years ago, and then that didn't work out very well. And then just recently, one of the larger airlines was going in there once or twice a week, but apparently that's shut down again, last I've heard. So each airport just depends upon the types of planes they can have and the demand. I walk quite a bit, but at the same time, there are times when walking isn't a good idea. Depends on where I'm going and if I'm in a hurry. And taxis. So my average per month for the various forms of transportation, right around 30 to 35, 3,000 to 3,500 pesos. So 3,500 divided by 56 to the U.S. About 62 U.S. dollars for transportation for me. And when I first came here, I budgeted $100, about 5,000 pesos a month to take a trip someplace. somebody someplace. But in reality, it turns out it's more like every third month I take a trip, every third or fourth. Now that I have a girlfriend, and instead of a couple days, I hate these 1 and 2 day trips. If I'm going someplace, I don't want to just be traveling, unpacking, packing, and traveling. So I'd stay a little bit longer, so it averages out to actually less the way I do it now. But here in Cebu, you can rent a taxi for the day, about 8 hours for 3,500, 4,500, somewhere in that category with the driver. And you can rent a larger van if you've got a group. You can talk to the bigger hotels about that. They've got contacts with those types of vans and the drivers. And 8, 9, 10, 12,000 depends upon how many people, where you're going, how long you want it. So very inexpensive. Immigration at Philippines, I think they just raised their rate a little bit, their express fee in particular, I believe. And I used to say it was going to cost about $30 per month. You can get a 1 year, a 1 month or a 2 month extension. You used to be able to get a 6 month extension, but only in Manila at the present time, I think. All other offices only allow you those 1 or 2. And I believe that averages, instead of 30, more like $35 a month now, with all the various stamps and fees that you have to pay along with that. And then if you're going to use a visa agent, it's going to cost you whatever they charge, another X amount of pesos. But I use JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services, and they pick it up from me and deliver it to me, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Passport services as well. I had to renew my passport a couple months ago, and I let JRC Visa Consultancy take care of that as well. So I didn't have to do that. They only do U.S. passports at the present time. I've had a couple of people ask me if they do Canadian or other passport services. Anyway, next topic. Medical, dental, pharmacy, and boy, that comes in spurts, it seems. I am very fortunate that I don't take any prescription medications. And so I don't have those issues. I know that there are issues, different people asking they're on high strength pain medication, other types of medications, and you have to talk to a certain doctor to get those types of prescriptions here. And all I can recommend you is contact those types of doctors and or the pharmacies and ask what the requirements are. Will your prescription be accepted here? That type of thing. And I've had people tell me they've just taken a prescription bottle in and the pharmacy has filled that prescription. Um, there are I just like in Vietnam, I could get things there that like amoxicillin when I had strep throat in Vietnam, without a prescription. There's some things you can get without a prescription here that you, like in the U.S., you would need a prescription. So it just really depends on what you're looking for. I spend some money on vitamins, supplements, other supplements. I'll do another video about that. I'm starting a second channel. I'm working on that. Hope to have it up within a month, where I deal mostly in health-related issues, and I'll get more into those types of details. But yeah, I think I average probably $30 a month on over the counter. I used to take a lot more pain medicine because I walked a lot, but I don't actually do that. Take that. I just have been able to get by without that type of thing, and I try to stay away from any pain medication when I can. But yeah, my average about 1,680 pesos a month, about 30 US dollars. And then the other thing to take into account, the exchange rate. When I came here 2015, the exchange rate was 48.5 pesos to the dollar. Now it's 56, 57 pesos to the US dollar. So that affects your cost of living as well. You have to take that into consideration. As far as doctors and hospitals, I've got a playlist about medical and dental. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. Doctor visits generally, and the nice thing here, you can go directly to a specialist. You don't have to go to a general practitioner and then get recommended off to some specialist. You usually can go straight to a specialist, dermatologist, or whatever you're looking at. And my fees have been anywhere from, I think, 400 pesos to the most I paid for a doctor visit was 800 pesos, less than $16. Go in and get looked at, talk, and get a prescription, and on my way. I did have an accident a couple of years ago now. I was walking downtown late at night, dark area. I tripped and fell and hit my shoulder. I think it was, in fact, I was out by the highway, and I think they'd cut off some trees, and I think I tripped over one of those stumps, and I hit my left shoulder on another tree stump, I think, a small little one, and as well as just above my eye, and dislocated and fractured my shoulder. And I walked out, found a taxi, took a taxi home. My girlfriend just got home, and I said, "Take me to the hospital." And she took me to Perpetual Socorro, which was a good choice. And the first couple days, they didn't have operating room qualified nurses, is what the surgeon told me later. So I was there a couple days, and getting I think 3 different pain medications that didn't seem to do too much. It was bearable, but I was in quite a bit of pain. And then had the surgery, about 50,000 pesos worth of titanium, which was a little less than $1,000. And I don't have the figures ahead of me. I did get a PhilHealth paid for part of the bill. And this particular hospital gave me the senior citizens discount, so I got 2 discounts. And they accepted credit cards, so I paid some of that by credit card. The company that supplied the titanium and the sterile tent to operate under wanted cash, so I had to give my girlfriend my debit card and have her run to the bank and get the cash. And I got a little upset and let them know that, why didn't you tell me 2 days ago about that, so I could plan. But anyway, my lights are, I got one light bulb flashing, just going off and on. I thought my electric was going out, but electric is on. I just need another light bulb. But yeah, I have several medical, dental related videos in my playlist. At the end of this, I'll link it to. And I've got some, I should do that again, like daily rates, room rates for hospitals, for various operations, what they charge in comparison to U.S. So yeah, you can find in the bigger cities like Metro Manila, they've got some very top-rated hospitals. Cebu City, I think they've got many Western trained doctors as well, good equipment, and I was telling one doctor that I had my gallbladder out, I don't know, 12 years ago, something like that, and it was outpatient. They call that outpatient. It went in and getting checked in, and in the operating room and out. I was out within 3 hours, and went home and went about my daily life. Doctors here said, "Oh, we would have kept you at least 2 or 3 days here." So I don't know if they would in the better hospitals in Manila or not. St. Luke's, number of other ones that have highly rated there. Entertainment per se, I don't spend that much on that type of thing. I've been to a few movies over the 10 years that I've been here, taken somebody to their first movie theater, and so you have that. You've got like SM Seaside. They've got a ice skating rink, bowling alley. SM they've got a bowling alley in SM Cebu City. A lot of guys they spend more at the bar than in a week than I spend in many months. But it just depends upon what you like. There are expat clubs, walking, jogging type club. There's billiards type. Billiards is real popular here. There is basketball, of course. You can get in pickleball as more and more guys are interested in pickleball. You'll find a few pickleball courts. Difficult to find a tennis court. Badminton, very popular here. Doesn't cost that much. Various other activities that you can get involved in. And before I get into the couple of lists I promised early on, let's talk about charity, contingencies, and stuff that adds up. First of all, charity. I give my fair share. I help out my fair share, I believe. Here in the Philippines, I don't show it in my videos. I don't brag about it. And between me and whoever I'm helping out, anyway, I've helped out. Anyway, that's saying enough, I think. Um, as far as stuff, I've had a number of friends who've rented a place, not happy with the silverware or pans, or they've went out and bought their own stuff to take care of those little things. Just stuff. You need tape. You need this. You need that. Little things you pick up at a hardware store, or and I didn't cover clothing. You need a hat. You need an umbrella. Just stuff. 20, $30 a month on something like that. Other contingencies, if you have an emergency, a medical situation, if you've got to go back to your home country because of some emergency, take care of something. Um, there's a number of things that can happen. You should have a backup plan, and plan B and C. You should have the cash to fund that backup plan. I know there are some people come here they're just month to month, waiting for that check to come in. And I've told the story before. I was here a little over 6 months, and all of a sudden my pension check wasn't coming in. I waited a couple of weeks, still wasn't there. I called Social Security. They said, "Oh, we sent you a letter." My daughter never notified me, and they said we had overpaid you a bit for the last year or something like that, and you're not going to get a check for 6 months. We gave you the option. You could have taken lower payments for X amount of time. But anyway, I was never notified. They said, well, you could go to Manila Embassy and fill out a form. Might take a couple months for that to go through. And I thought I'll just get by for 6 months without a check. And I wasn't didn't come here absolutely poor, but you should consider that. What if your guaranteed income doesn't show up for a number of months? I know people here who have they give a Philippine address. They're out of the country once a year. Think in the first I forget what months it is. You supposedly you're supposed to get a "Are you still alive?" letter, and you have to respond to that, or they cut off your funds. And I've met a couple people that's happened to, and they've had to go down to the consulate or the embassy to get it reinstated, and it takes a month or two for that to happen. So things like that. Anyway, let me get into the couple of charts information that I told you about earlier. There are a number of expat groups that Expatistan and a number of others that put out data about how much it costs in different countries. And they get a lot of that data by asking their members, what does it cost for you for food and rent and all this type of thing? Well, I think in general, it's not the poorest people who are sending the poorest expats who are sending in the information. It's the middle to higher end who have the time and money and to send all that information and desire to do that. So these may be, and I don't know. This is at least a couple of years ago. This one was from Nomad something or other, I think, and they've got a list of different cities in different countries in Southeast Asia. Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and over on the right, low and high numbers according to their members. And you go down Davao, Philippines, 860 minimum to 1250. Of course, you can live for less than that if you're very frugal. Cebu, 1,040 a month to 1,350 a month. Well, a lot of people are spending a whole lot more than that, and I don't know if it's based on a one-bedroom place, living by yourself, probably. Ho Chi Minh City, which is Saigon, Vietnam. Manila, Philippines, minimum or a low, not minimum, 1,110 to 1,430. I'm sure most people would say no, it's going to be higher than that for most people. Kuala Lumpur. Further down the list, Chiang Mai, Thailand, Bangkok, Thailand. Like Chiang Mai, I was going to go there originally before I decided the language is an issue there. Low, what's that? 900, high 1,830. Real big spread there. And Thailand, Bangkok, 1,210 to 1,790. Pattaya, 1,110 to 2,000. You know, I don't know if that includes all your the girls you're gonna buy drinks for or not. But you know, these are interesting charts. But in the end, it comes down to you, your money, your budget, and if you can actually stay within your budget, how you're going to spend your money. And here's something else I found, I think, within the last year living in the Philippines. Somebody put on, I don't know, Facebook or someplace, all their different expenses, and they include car and insurance, uh, computer, and, you know, something I forgot was internet. Internet cost me 1,299 a month, something I forgot to put in this video. And my cell phone cost me about 500 pesos a month. So anyway, looking through this, he's got pet care and taxes, federal income tax, personal care. He broke that down. Bank charges. He really broke it down, and he came to a total of 2,500, 200,054, 254,392, which is right around at 56 pesos to the dollar. About 4,540. So much higher. You know, the average Social Security pension right now, I think, is right around, I don't know, 1,900 to 2,000, right in that category, I believe, with the latest cost of living increase. So he's probably getting that, and probably a personal pension and savings, and who knows what else. But there's options. You can live very frugally. You know, there was a comment, I think, on Facebook group the other day. Can I live on $800 US dollars a month in the Philippines? And like there was a dozen different comments. All but one said, "Oh yeah, sure. You just have to really live frugally." And my answer is always, you can until you can't, until you have that major medical issue, until you get scammed big time. You buy into somebody's big get rich quick scheme. You get scammed some way. So anyway, know your risks. Man, Philippines has a lot to offer, and you can live within your budget if you choose to do so. Anyway, thanks for coming along. Looking forward to your comments, and we'll see you in the next video.